Hello everyone, it's Linda from LindaZ in Arlington Heights, Illinois. And you can see by looking at a few things in front of me that we are continuing with some of our series of how to hoop fabrics. And we got today, I guess it's the morning, we are going to at 8 o'clock. We're going to show you how to do a hooping of a knit fabric. Even though I have a quilt over here on my right side, I'm going to show you little things on that too. We've tried to do a series of different types of hooping of different types of fabrics so that you can really get an idea of what is the correct way to hoop it. It's very difficult when you try to take a fabric and then you don't know the right process. You don't know how much to tighten the under hoop, which is this. This is a big one, but I do a lot of designs in this. And then this is the upper hoop or the inner hoop. One lays on the bottom, the fabric goes over, or the stabilizer goes over it, and then this is the upper hoop. And if you look at the jacket that I have on, I've got a little bird, really fun little bird design. It's an OESD, and that is this is a very, very lightweight knit. There's no puckering, but if you look at the jacket in the back, and Nick, I don't know if you can get that up real close, but it's very subtle. It just goes right into the wool because it's a heavy, it's a thick fabric. And actually, on the jacket itself, running down here, there's a little bit of subtle orange. I mean, you can kind of see here, see how these little designs go by. And that's what I like when I'm doing, anything that is a little dressier, a little jacket's got a little velvet around the collar. Real simple jacket to make. And when I do something like this, I will use, because this is actually a stretchy fabric, even though it's a wool, it's a stretch wool. And when you have anything that's stretch, it's considered as a knit. So we want to stabilize it as much as possible. And if you can see the inside in here, I use black. I'm going to show you on here, I've got 3 different colors, a beige, a white, and a black. Those are what are going to go into the hoop. And then I have a water-soluble topper that will go on top. And again, I'm not going into all about the stabilizers. You still need to know it. But I want to teach you today about the value of being able to stabilize the garment, the knit fabric, so it doesn't stretch out when you're putting it in the hoop. So what I'm going to do, you know that it's very important. Let me move this around this way so you can see it better. It's important that you do have quite a bit of room. They say an inch, but I always do more than an inch around the outside. Now this is the under hoop right here. Let me take that and screw it a little bit. See, that's the bottom hoop. Now your stabilizer needs to be bigger than that. And the reason being, it's not that you couldn't make it real tight and try and squeeze out every little inch, but it's so much easier for you if you've got that extra space around the hoop when you're hooping, because then it will stabilize your garment and you don't have to worry about what's going to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this out so I've got a little extra space here and a little bit over here. And I've told you I do have a rotary cutter. We finally got these back in stock. I love these. And I use this just strictly for my stabilizer. So once I get it on there, I'm going to go to the ironing board and I'll meet you there. And I will show you exactly how we press it on there. So here I am at the ironing board, and you can see this is that beautiful Laura Star, and I love it because it does work so well. I started pressing it already. It's not quite finished. And you don't need to use steam when you're doing this. In fact, you can hear the iron has got a little motor in it because there's a tank underneath it. And when I'm pressing this, I start from the middle and I press out. And if you notice what I've done here, the hoop, this is the bottom of it. So the design, this is the inside of the fabric. It's a little shirt that we carry. They're just really nice little cotton poly shirts that just sew up beautifully with embroidery designs. So it's a little round neck. And what I've done here is as you saw when I cut it, I made sure that the fabric, there was enough to go around the outside of the bottom hoop. So now that's whatever stabilizer you would use. I would not use tearaway on something like this, and there is a rule of thumb when you're stabilizing to try and fuse as much as possible on even a woven fabric. You can see, I'm going to show you this quilt in a minute at the very end, and it is a woven quilt, of course, and it is been embroidered. It's the anniversary quilt for Bernina, and it's just stunning. It's got embroidery designs on it, and we used a heat and stay tearaway fusible on that too. So there's really some great things that you need to learn about your stabilizers, and we do have classes that we teach on that too. I want to show you, this is a little knit fabric that another little knit shirt. It's very, very thin, but you can see this one's already been sewn. And what I did, it had the same, this has been washed over and over, and it has the same exact stabilizer, only this I put white. On this one, I just happened to have it, and I put a light color so you could see it. Normally I'd put a black on here like I did on this jacket. On the inside it's a black. But on this one, I wanted you to be able to see it. And when after I wash this, I will take it, you don't have to press the whole thing, but I take it to the ironing board, use a fusible pad, and then I press it down from the inside. And then you can see there's absolutely no puckers. And isn't this cute? It's got a little bit of I love Winnie the Pooh. I think it's really cute, the design. So just a simple little design like this, and it's not a heavy embroidery design. You wouldn't want to put a real heavy design on a real lightweight knit like this. So let's take this now over to the machine, I'm going to take the machine after I finish it, but I want to show you the actual hooping process, and then we're done. Now I'm back at the table. You want a nice firm table. You don't have to have all those gripping things that people talk about. I think they get in the way. I mean, if it works for you, that's great, but I just do this on my regular cutting mat or an old table that I don't care much about. And what I've done here is I've taken I've turned the shirt inside out and pull the sleeves out because you don't want them to get caught when you're embroidering. Now I'm going to fold this part of the top part back. The key thing is you want to be able, just think about it, you want the design to show on the outside. So that means the stitching is going to show, and it's going to be sewn on the outside, the right side of the knit shirt, not the wrong side. And the reason I'm saying that, I know most of you know this, but it is so easy to hoop a wrong side, and then all of a sudden your embroidery design is inside out, and you don't want that happening. And ask me how I know about that. We've all done it. Everybody has. Now, do you see what I've done here? This is exactly the middle, and it's the middle of my shirt. Let me see. Are you getting this on the overhead, Nikki? Okay. This right here is the middle. Now, I have done this so many times. I have probably, I know I have over 100 shirts that I've done. And this is my crosshairs right here and here. Most of your hoops come with a grid that you can put right in the center, and it'll show you exactly where the center is. If you don't have that, that doesn't matter at all. You can even take, I know Floriani and OESD have paper that you can print the design out and put it down so you center it to see where you want it. All you need is a little center point, and that center point is where you want to center your design. So I know that I've centered it properly. I had a little chalk and I've swished it out of there. I again have this on the right side, even though this is the wrong side. Do you see how I'm flipping that over? And this is the right side that it's going to sew on, and it's right in the front of the shirt. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this perfect tape. It's called magic. I call it magic tape, but it's called embroidery perfection tape. And I just tape the sides down so that none of this gets in the way while I'm embroidering. And I don't have to even sit there and hold it because it really, really will work. But there's something missing. Did anybody catch what it is? You're right. It's the water-soluble topper, not the heat and gone. The heat and gone is for a heavy fabric like this. When I did the embroidery on this heavy jacket, I definitely put the heat and gone on it, not the water-soluble. And I've heard this is probably the most important part of this whole video, is people will say to me over and over, but I thought because you all you needed is stabilizer or tearaway on the back. Absolutely not. You want to fuse it as much as possible, and you always want to put a topper on top of your garment, no matter whether it's a knit, it's a woven like this, Lace we don't, but on just about everything else you will want a topper. And again, we cover all of that because there's a lot to learn. So you can see this is in there nice and taut, but it's not like a drum. There's no ripples, there's no puckering right here. If you've got a lot of puckering right here where you've tightened your screw on the bottom of your hoop or on the side of your hoop, then you know that you have it too tight and you want to release it a little bit. So I'm going to put this into the machine. I'm going to sew it and it will be perfect. I'll show it to you in another video. Again, I want to thank you so much for coming. I told you that I would, listening to us, I did tell you that I would show this quilt. I think it's just so stunning. Some of you may have seen it before, but it is all embroidered. It is the Bernina Anniversary quilt, and it's Amanda Murphy fabric, and it's just really one of the more beautiful ones that we have. And how this was done, we have another video that we did just on woven fabric, because this is woven. This is Amanda's cottons, and the technique is exactly the same, exactly the way the woven hooping video is that we did, and it's only about 10 minutes. So again, I want to thank you for joining us. I have a couple of other shirts back here. If you see the red one, this was a knit one, but what's really fun about a shirt, and I know some of you do this, I like to put just a little something on the back. And this is just a little Indian motif because this was a Southwestern look. And again, I think you know what kind of stabilizer we put. This I actually was able to hoop. When you see the power mesh and the fusible power mesh on the actual design on the shirt, you will know that it was actually hooped. There's another video that we're doing where we are doing hard to hoop areas. Like if I wanted to do something right on the elbow or right below the elbow of this shirt, then without opening up the seam, there is another product that we do, and that's in another video. So I hope you'll watch these videos. They'll give you a little bit of an idea of what will help you, and send me your comments. I love to hear from you. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.